Pleasant day again, everyone. Food Processing 9, Quarter 2 topic is Inspect and Sort Raw Materials and Products with the following objectives. Prepare utensils, tools, and equipment for inspection and sorting. Inspect packaging materials and perform complete inspection and sorting activity. We only have one module for this quarter with 3 learning outcomes. First, we have prepare utensils, tools, and equipment. Second, inspection of packaging materials. And third, complete inspection and sorting activity. What I did for my students to easily understand the topic is I gave them a keen detail of each topic for them to understand better. I introduced to them every lesson and the learning outcome so that they will have the idea of what to expect and learn at the end of the lesson. Another subtopic for the LO1 is the preventive measures when dealing with the different materials and equipment in fish processing. I introduced to them the different measures when dealing with the food processing tools and equipment as shown on the screen. Next is the checking, cleaning, and sanitation of equipment and tools, wherein cleaning has given its definition. I also discussed to them how important is sanitation, especially in handling foods and using of utensils, tools, and equipment, since our field of specialization is more on handling different food items. We have discussed also the importance of sanitizing and disinfecting of the utensils, tools, and equipment in one's health. For LO2, which is the inspection of packaging materials, we've discussed about packaging and labeling and how important is the selection of raw materials which will be used for product packing and labeling. Properties of raw materials is discussed under LO2, and the importance of geometric properties, color, texture, and flavor in choosing the raw materials in preparing a processed product. Specifications of raw materials was also given emphasis to ensure the quality of the processed product. For LO3, which is complete inspection and sorting activity, we also discussed the purpose of inspection. In here, the students have also experienced acceptance, not merely rejection, but just a sort of advice to improve their product or output as a whole, considering the uniformity and evaluating the average quality of their own finished product. Furthermore, they have also differentiated grading from sorting. This was also shown on their video presentation sent on my Messenger account and in our group chat. Since one of their performance tasks is the preparation of marinated bangus, which I believe an easier task for them to do because of the availability of materials is not an issue. Tools and materials are basically available at home. This performance covers all the needed requirements of the lesson from preparation of utensils, tools, and materials to inspection of packaging materials down to complete sorting and inspection activity. The students prepared one activity which is graded in 3 performances. I also asked them about their experience upon preparing their output. They comment that it is easy for them doing it at home for they have their parents who can guide them by looking at the video which I sent via GC. At the same time, share their prior knowledge for better preparation. The most commendable part is when they share the finished product in a family dinner after documenting the process for submission. On screen is the video presentation in preparing marinated bangus for their reference. I also prepared a written material of the recipe for those students who don't have the access of internet. They've simply followed the procedure and asked them to borrow a cell phone to take pictures while preparing for submission online if they don't have money to produce a printed output. I also considered the span of time and gave them a week to comply the requirement. This is also my way of bridging the gap on this time of pandemic to make sure that there is no student left behind. I even encountered student who asked me if he can use other fish variety aside from bangus because of money matter maybe. So I gave him the chance to utilize the available variety, assuring the purpose of the requirements. In such manner, parents will provide for their student for they will enjoy the finished product as well, and serve as their final output for their graded performance for the quarter. As their teacher, I also keep on reminding them about the distribution of their ratings in this new normal setup, to encourage them to do better in their academic performances, even more while staying at home. And for those who don't have the access of the internet, prepared modules and same worksheets was utilized. The only advantage of those who have the access is that, through the online presentation I made and sent to our GC, topics were cascaded and kindly delivered to promote better understanding. For their written task, I only focused on the reliability of the outputs. For them to classify tools and equipment used in food processing, I am only referring and asking the basic tools and equipment commonly available in their kitchen. Written task 2.0 is more on knowledge, and the content can be seen on their modules to test if they have read their modules or not. Written task 3.0 is very basic. They just sorted and inspected the cleaning materials available at home and cite their uses and functions. An easy task to do that covers the subject requirement for the quarter, and so that they won't have any reasons not to answer on each task. And this is what I am referring from my previous content. The students will have 3 performances in one preparation, utilizing only one specific product, which is the bangus and locally available spices. In marinated bangus making, before preparing the marinating process, the students were told to buy milkfish or bangus following the given checklist. They will observe what are being required based on the given rubric, and they will be graded according to what they have learned and applied it on the actual performance of inspecting and sorting the raw materials. Basing on the first performance, in Performance Task 2.0, the graded and sorted bangus will then be made into a marinated bangus, following the steps or even making their own marinade preparation to share with their classmates after posting it in our FB page or in our group chat. There is a corresponding rubric for rating in every performances. These were sent or given to them, included in the worksheets upon distribution. After marinating, Performance Task 3 then follows. The students are required to create a packaging and labeling for their marinated bangus product. Following the rubric for evaluation, their final output then is packed and labeled. one preparation, one documentation for the submission of the final output, either in a video presentation or through printed pictures, submitted upon scheduled retrieval of TLE modules and worksheets. Upon receiving their modules, the students are then followed up and queries were properly addressed and answered. Here are some of the pictures of the follow-up and consultations made by my grade 9 students for quarter 2. The students' eagerness and willingness to pass the subject is visually shown on their outputs. I have observed on the quarter 2 of this subject, students tend to submit their performance output directly via Messenger. This is maybe because of the favorable time and effort in sending their outputs in just a click, or maybe they enjoyed much in actual performances than written ones. We can clearly identify their creativity level, and we even learned much from them, especially in the internet world. They have better presentations of output using their knowledge on the internet. This is due to the generation gap maybe, and the acceptance of change. As teachers, we need to make sure that we have shown to them our appreciation if they have submitted their outputs on time or sent it on our messenger earlier than the given deadlines. In such manner, the students will get the assurance that their time and effort aren't wasted, for they were recognized even online. On screen are examples of the students' output submitted on or before the deadline. After the scheduled retrieval of modules and outputs, I found out that mostly on written task 1.0, which is the reflect and understand part, the students find it hard to identify the utensils, tools, equipment, and packaging materials used in food processing. Most of them listed the tools and equipment used in drafting, tailoring, and so on. So I made an enrichment activity to help them internalize the difference between utensils, tools, equipment used in food processing and those that were used in other specialized skills, for them to clearly understand each classification. I asked them to list down all the utensils, tools, and equipment and packaging materials available in their kitchen and classify them according to their uses, for all these implements are used in processing food. Video presentations below are example of some enrichment outputs of the students. It is so timely that after weeks of checking and recording students' output, in-service training sets in. And I felt so glad and honored to share with you my learnings of the 3-day in-service training of the TLE department. I consider my learnings from the said training as a supplemental development of my professional growth. With the help of different speakers, I was able to gain additional knowledge and updates for me to grow as an educator, especially in this time of pandemic. I never get the chance to use what I have learned from the training, but I made it clear that I am ready for the next school year and was able to prepare even for the third quarter lessons in food processing. One of the required output is the TOS with holistic assessment. On screen is the TOS I made during the training and it was already updated. Thankful for the sharing and mentoring of the speakers, for it really uplifted my sense of being a functional educator. Another output during our TLE in-service training is the holistic assessment based on the TOS which I have presented during my last slide. I haven't got the chance to use this for second quarter, but purposely I'll be needing this for the next school year. Before I end up my presentation this day, let me read to you a very common quote that needs not to be neglected. This will always remind us of our vocation brought to us by our profession. A teacher affects eternity. He can never tell where his influence stops. Once again, this is Raquel Ojas Iduave, Teacher 3 of Hasaan National High School Food Processing, teacher of grade 8 to 10. Keep safe, everyone. Thank you for your time. God bless us all.